We're back. Cowboy Nation is back. Silver Blue Huddle is back. Rich Black Man, So Amazing is back. We missed an expert corner. We're going to catch him up next week, but I know he's pretty excited about the draft. But I also know that he probably was a little bit devastated about his Dallas Mavericks almost coming back against that other team the other day. So he might need a little bit of extra time off from the podcast today. But I know he's pretty excited about the NFL draft and what the Cowboys did. But he'll be back next week. But we got two Cowboys here. Myself and So Amazing Man. The NFL draft just happened this past week. I'm excited about who we picked up. I'm excited about what we've done in the draft and how our team going to look in the future, man. So let's hop right into it, man. So Amazing. How do you feel about the draft, man? I mean, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yep. Listen. First of all, I love the little quick little shade you threw at expert real quick. You know, little basketball, a little.
Right. I had to because I know he was watching that game. We always were watching the Clippers and we always watching the Mavericks play. And the Clippers had like a 20, 30-point lead. And then here comes the Mavericks coming down. So I can only imagine Expert glued to his TV. He's like, yeah, let's go, Luka. Ooh, Kyrie, that's a big shot. Let's go. We almost got it. And then they came up a little bit short. Just like the Dallas Mavericks do. But NFL draft, man. Let's talk about the Cowboys.
NFL draft, honestly, look, first I want to say, like, we got 7 rounds of drafting, right?
Right.
What was the first reaction we all had as Cowboy Nation, right? It was, oh my God, we're the 24th pick. We're getting dripped. We're dropping back to 29th. What for? Like, you know, like at first we were all like, what's going on, Jerry? Why are we doing this? But now when you really look at what they tried to do, you could see it in the picks, right? Now, what's the biggest L everybody's talking about? Cowboys didn't draft a running back, right? The whole time. Didn't draft a running back. My favorite that I said, Trey Benson and a few others. You know, of course, they went to other teams. But what we have is fantastic. So Tyler Guyton, let's start there, right? Tyler Guyton, he was on our draft board. He was one of our top prospects. So this wasn't a surprise to people that do follow the scouting prospects for Cowboy Nation. So Tyler Guyton, at Oklahoma, he played right tackle, but he has the feet for left tackle. What people don't know about Tyler Guyton is that he played on the right side. Yes, he was right tackle in college, but his quarterback was left-handed. So technically, that's like a blind side, right? Because you're the other way. But scouting wise, they scouted it good and they got him. Now with Tyler Guyton, some people say like, oh, he's a work in progress, he's a project. Look, I think everybody's a project. I think anybody that comes from college football,
project,
yeah. I think thank you for agreeing with that. I think they're all a project. Yes, you might have the diamond in the rough once in a while that just comes in and lights it up, but that's very rare, right? But Guyton's going to come in. He's going to be working with some veterans on the offensive line. We already have veterans that are going to kind of show him the ropes, right? So I'm glad to see him, and I'm excited to see him go through training camp. Yes, is he a little bit rookie with his hands, and he has good footwork, but his hands might not be right for his hand work. But listen, I like the pick. I enjoy it. And because of the fact that we moved back a little bit and we got the extra pick, we winded up getting Cooper Beebe.
Right.
And, if we go right down the list, that's my second favorite, almost first favorite pick out of all 7. I think Beebe, if you looked at his stats in Kansas State and his highlight film, I call him an anchor. He is strong. He is very heavy in the waist. Like I'm talking, what I mean by heavy, like you ain't pushing that man. There's highlights of him, of defenders, even the guy, that Byron Murphy guy, and all those other prospects that were DTs, that were bull rushing people. There's film out there on this guy Beebe just manhandling these guys or holding these guys up. So
yeah, even
that
on
makes
like
me excited.
1-on-1. I think I seen like a highlight of him guarding that DT that you're talking about. He was just basically just manhandling him in 1v1 coverage. Normally, that particular person you're talking about has to get double teamed, but when they face Kansas State or whatever, like he single-handedly like just handled him the whole game solo. So I thought that was pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know too much about BB or whatever. I know he's gonna probably end up playing center But the highlights that I've seen, the way people are talking about him, it seems like a very solid pick. And I'm happy that the Dallas Cowboys do not listen to their fans and do not listen to me when it comes to draft time, because I was sitting there looking at pick number 24 and then they traded down to number 29. I'm like, what are we doing? I kind of panicked a little bit. I was like, oh, here goes the Cowboys doing what the Dallas Cowboys do. But it seemed like they made the first correct pick and they did the right thing by selecting the Guyland. So I like the pick.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, like I said, they don't really listen to me because I definitely probably would have went running back with my second pick, and then they went another offensive person. I was like, what are they doing? Oh my god! But
Now
they did the right thing. They did the right thing.
I was gonna say like because like offensive wise, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Guyton, I think they'll be fine on the O
Mm-hmm.
line. Now these are the two names that I'm gonna bring out before I get into the deeper picks. Right,
Right.
these are the two next names, and I want to hear your opinion on them. I've seen the highlights, and I have my opinions, and of course I want to hear yours. So the Marshawn Nealon, which is the edge rusher, our second round pick from Western Michigan, right? And then the Maris Lufia. I'm gonna butcher that name. I gotta get it right. It's from the linebacker from Notre Dame, the guy Maris. He was our another third
Right.
rounder, right? Now, out of those two, the one that I feel that is gonna impact faster, I feel like Marist is. Now you're probably like, Mike, what are you talking about? Nealon is a pass rusher. What are you talking about? I saw the pass rush ability of Nealon, and I also saw the talent that he was going against.
Right.
He wasn't going against crazy talent at the school that he was at. Does he pop off the screen a little bit on film? Yes. I feel like with training and with being around other veterans and that competition that we have already with Sam Williams already being there, there's a lot of competition for him to actually start to
Right.
prove that can he pass rush on third downs. So I'm not saying he's not a bad pick. I just don't I didn't see anything that was like, oh my God, this guy is going to be hard to manhandle. Like, I was looking at it like, if he goes against somebody that's not really that good, he could possibly get past him and maybe get a
Yeah.
quarterback pressure.
Like
But he
when we
really
face the
didn't pop
Giants or
off.
something, right? When we face the
Yeah, like
Giants
I'm
or when we
thinking like,
face the Eagles, he should have like career
yeah,
games.
somebody like that. And then with the Maris guy, I call him like a little like Troy Polamalu, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he has the long hair, he's close into the box. He's what we needed last year
Right.
to stop the run, because that's what all this guy does. He just comes up and stops the run. And he's not really a coverage guy. So I mean, I don't know if you know any more on those guys than I do.
Yeah, I mean, for the defensive end that we picked, I'm happy that we picked the defensive end so Michael Parsons can shut the hell up and stop crying on social media talking about he ain't got no damn help. So, Michael Parsons, you got help now. So, you better play up to your standards. You better play like a superstar and stop your damn crying, okay? Jerry drafted a defensive end, so you're going to be on the other side. So, I want to see sacks on sacks on sacks. And that's all that I want to see from you. I don't want to hear nothing from your podcast. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, they double teaming me and crying and all that other stuff that you do on social media. You got some help, so shut the hell up, okay? Like, that's my message to Michael Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to pick the defensive end. I like the linebacker picks as well. One of the guys that we picked later in the draft, I'm really hoping that he has a great year and he's able to like maybe line up on the other side of CeeDee Lamb, which is the wide receiver, Ryan Fournor. Like, I really hope he actually pans out to be something good because we lost Michael Gallup. So I'm assuming Brandon Cook's gonna come back. So Cook's gonna probably go in the slot, and maybe that other dude, the drafted one that we picked up, can maybe line up opposite CD on the outside and do something. I know we still got Jalen Tolbert. I mean, but
Mm-hmm.
he was kind of up and down a little bit. He's going into like his third year, right?
See, me
Tolbert.
personally, I would love to see Jalen Tolbert step up a little more
Mm-hmm.
and have him go on the outside. And
Right.
then when we're in like 4 receiver sets, I would do Tolbert outside. Of course, you could do anything you want with Brandon Cooks. Cooks can go on the
Right.
outside or the slot. He's a veteran like that. But I think this guy, Flournoy, Flournoy, he he doesn't. He's not gonna beat nobody. Like he's not gonna burn nobody downfield. He's not
Right.
gonna take off. He's not like that, right?
He's pretty fast
But
though. I thought he
but
was
but
pretty
he
fast.
has great no, he has okay speed, but like I'm not saying like he's not gonna be able to burn defenders all the time. His route running is where it's at. His
Right.
catching is where it's at. If you look at his highlights for real, he has good hands. He runs a route really well, gets enough separation. He does the back shoulder catches. He does the difficult catches that not a lot of receivers like to do. He catches with his hands, which
Mm-hmm.
is a very good trait. He's not like trying to do anything else. He's catching with his hands. He's bringing it into his body, which it sounds simple, right? We're like, oh well, everybody should be doing that in the league. But a lot of receivers really don't do that. It's the old school way, catch with your hands. So I hope he can be a possession guy, start him out in the slot, for receiver situations. Yeah, I want to see that by him.
Yeah.
The other draft pick, Carson, I think he's Wake Forest. Is he Wake Forest? Hold on, make
Hmm.
sure. Not Wake. Yeah, it was Wake Forest. Okay,
Right.
Kalen Carson, round 5, CB. Now I feel like he's gonna replace Jordan Lewis eventually. Jordan Lewis is a veteran. Don't get me wrong. I love him and I love that he's staying with us. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's a guy that takes Jordan Lewis's spot in the future,
Right.
and Jordan Lewis eventually will get like traded off to another team, just because of his age. It's nothing because of his talent level. I think this Carson guy is like another replica of Jordan Lewis, where he could go into the slot and play some man to man and get a little physical.
Mm.
I don't see him more. I don't see him as a zone guy. I see him as like a man coverage coming in on nickels and dimes.
Yeah, it seems like Mike Zimmer is actually pretty happy with the DB room, him and Al Harris, because we got Bland and we also got Diz coming back. I know we haven't
Yeah,
really heard anything on Gilmore just yet, but hopefully he comes back. But you
yeah,
just
because we
never
only
know.
got one D back in the draft.
Yeah, yeah, we only got
Yeah.
just one, so it seems like he's pretty set on who is in the DB room now. But like I said, hopefully we're able to find a way to get Gilmore back. But I don't think he's going to come back for cheap. But we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, I like the draft overall. I like who we picked. Like I said, they didn't really do what the fans would want them to do or what we kind of expected them to do. Like because there definitely was opportunities for them to pick up a running back. And according to the press conference from Jerry, he was saying that every time that they was ready to pick a running back, he kind of went off the board, and then there was a Nets available person at a certain position that they drafted, such as the offensive lineman that they kept getting. Like they wanted to draft, they maybe was going to go running back with the second pick, but then BB was there, so they
Yeah.
got BB, and then they was going to maybe draft for running back in the third round, which I think that's when the run on the running back started to happen a little bit. But the edge rusher was there. So I mean they took the best available. And if you know anything about the Cowboys drafting tactics, the last couple of years they have really went the best available at whatever position was available. So that's how they
Yeah,
got
whatever
Micah.
position available for
Yeah.
them on their board. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
Like,
how they got
no,
Micah,
yeah.
CD. Like that's how they got all those people. Because when you think about it, I don't think we really needed those positions hardcore at those time. But at the time when the Cowboys was picking, those was the best available players at those positions on the
But I feel
Cowboys
like we
board.
got what
So
we needed this
we
draft. Like,
did, we did.
and me personally, I was watching all the other teams too, and
Yeah,
all the way up until we got into like the teens. I want to say like the 16th, 18th pick. It really that's where it got a little weird with the Bears and the Vikings and stuff like that because they could do the trades.
right.
But how many what was that? What was it, like 6, 7 quarterbacks that went like before a D back, like a defender actually went?
Yeah,
Like that was
quarterbacks, and
wild.
you had
I think it
Jalen
was
Daniels. Yep.
what was it, the 15th or 16th pick was the first defensive player? Like
Yeah.
it was like crazy offense, 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 offense. And now I don't know what you think, but does that go to how the NFL is changing? That defense is wreaking havoc on these quarterbacks now that they're going after the more young talent. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you look at the league, it's very offensive driven now. So, I mean, you got to have like DBs and maybe even try to limit some of those offensive powerhouses out there, like the Kansas Cities and stuff like that. But I think what the Cowboys did, they totally addressed their entire needs, which was offensive line. Like coming into the draft, we lost Tyron Smith, we lost Biotish. So I mean, they addressed everything that the team needed. Yeah, it wasn't the flashy running back that everybody in the media was saying that the Cowboys needed to address, but they addressed the offensive line. Like I told you earlier, like what's a good running back if there isn't an O line to block for him? Like if you
Mhm.
remember when we had like that beast O line with Travis Fredericks and those guys, everybody kept saying, "Oh, you could just throw any running back there with that offensive line. They're
That's what you
beasts."
want, though.
Yeah, so that's what you want. So we're gonna test that theory out this year, and if those, and I'm hoping those guys work out. BB and the other guys well with the left tackle to where we can get back to running the ball. And if that's the case, then yeah, Zeke is going to have a good year. Rico's going to have a good year. Maybe even a little Mighty Mouse Deuce Vaughn will do
Deuce.
something as well. So we'll see. But I'm hoping that the Cowboys' offensive line picks actually work out because it definitely
And
was a need for
and
sure.
before we get into our boy Zeke coming back. The one
Yeah.
last draft pick that we have to get into was our last pick.
Right.
Justin Rogers, number round 7, 244th pick, DT out of Auburn. Now I saw this guy. He is literally what he looks like in his stats.
Hmm.
He's just a massive, strong DT. He looks like a guy like a Jonathan Hankins that is going to sit in the middle. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Mozzie, he's going to he's gonna put pressure on you to like really work this year because
Right.
this guy is big. And if he could plug up a hole and take on double teams and stop the run, Mozzie, it's gonna be a long season for you, bro. Because if you don't come in now, what I would like is this Justin Rogers guy to be a monster, and then put Mozzie right next to him. They're both run stoppers. You have Parsons and anybody you want on the other edge for 4-man pass rush.
Right.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. We got run stoppers and we got pass rushers. Now I'm talking. I'm not saying I don't want Mozzie to step up, but I need him to step up because that's what we picked you up last year for. We
Right.
picked you up last year to be that developing DT that could dominate the middle and disrupt the run game. And when we
Yeah.
didn't see enough of that this year as fans, and we were figuring out in the playoffs late in the season, like how we're going to stop this run game, which we didn't because that's how we got kicked out.
Right.
That's what I want. So to our last draft pick, Justin Rogers, I pray and I hope that you are a run stuffing guy because
Right.
I don't want what to happen last year.
Yep. And just to
And
recap
now
who
to the
we
run
actually
game.
picked, we picked um offensive line first pick.
Yep.
Second pick actually was an edge rusher.
Yeah,
Third pick
Nealon.
was
Yeah.
Cooper. Then we went back to linebacker. Then we picked DB, and then we picked wide receiver. Then we went with that seventh pick. We went back to our offensive tackle, and
Yeah.
then Justin Rogers, like you said. So
Yep.
it wasn't really the draft that the fans kind of expected a little bit, but overall, I think the Cowboys fully addressed everything that they needed for this team. I mean, I would love to have sat up here and Cap and said that the Cowboys didn't do this. They should have picked up this person. They should have like traded this. But I mean, overall, when you look at it as a true Cowboys fan, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Like this wasn't no fancy draft. So, what grade would you give the Cowboys based on this draft? I would probably go with like an A minus, A
A
minus,
minus.
A
And now I'm
minus.
guessing you're going A minus because you feel from a business perspective, and
Yep.
I think that's where you're going. I think from a business perspective, you're saying an A minus because they got the needs instead of the fancy picks.
Yep.
Is that what you're going with it?
A hundred
Me,
percent.
I'm gonna say I want to say like a B minus, like a B to B minus because I'm not gonna go with A because it wasn't like one of those things like, man, we got what we needed and some. If we got what we needed and some, then I would give it like an A minus. But I'm gonna go B minus because I feel like we got what we wanted. Um, we probably could have got a little more sneaky out there again, like in the late sixth, seventh round.
Right.
But again, like you said, we're going by off of what our scouts and our board says. So yeah, did we grab another offensive lineman right before Justin Rogers? We did, because the reason why it's for depth, just like any other position, right? You want competition, right?
Right.
Competition breeds success. So it looks like from what the Cowboys did, and again, this I know people are going to cap at this, the Cowboys drafted for competition. Literally, they want training camp to be full on competition. And then amongst these young guys, they want these guys to go at it with the mix of the veterans, and that's what they want to see. And that's what we're going to see in Oxnard.
Right. And like I said, I liked it. They totally drafted just for the need of the team. So we're gonna see what's gonna come about that. Because they really had no choice. I mean, they didn't really sign nobody in free agency. So where was it gonna replace the offensive line at if they don't draft nobody? So I'm
And I
happy with
think
the draft.
that's what it is too, Rich, right? Let's acknowledge that. the trolls out there that do not like the Cowboys and everything like that,
Mm,
they're always going to have something to say. Oh, look, Cowboys should have drafted the running back. They didn't draft the running back. Or if we would have drafted a running back, oh, look, Cowboys drafted a running back. They didn't get an offensive lineman. Look, they're going to suck. Blah, blah, blah. It's
mhm.
like no matter what we do, Rich, our fan base is solely criticized no matter what, right? But
Right.
guess what? You know why we can't have the fancy pick, guys? Because we win games. We're going to the playoffs. We're winning divisions. We're not pick number 5. We're not pick number 6. We don't have the first round draft pick of the litter, okay? Because we're actually winning games. All right?
Right.
So yes, is it cool to have a top 10 pick? That's fantastic to the teams that don't make the playoffs every year. They have to keep figuring it out. I'm sorry that the Cowboys like to win games and not be a bad team. So, yes, we have to strategize our picks.
Yeah, 100%. Like 100%. We definitely gotta do that because
But
like
but we
a
got
lot
the
of the
beast
people
coming back.
that don't like the Cowboys, they don't like the Cowboys because the Cowboys just beat up on their team all the time. Like they got Dak Prescott going out there throwing 4 or 5 TDs every single time that they face each other. So I mean that's why they don't like the Cowboys because the Cowboys dominate their own local personal team that they sit on their couch and cheer for every single Sunday. That's why they don't like the Cowboys. So I mean that's and plus with America's team too. But I mean, I'm happy
The
with the
most
draft,
attention.
man. I'm totally happy with the draft. So let's move on to something else. We had somebody to come back to the organization, come back to the
Welcome
team.
back. Welcome back.
Mister
Welcome
Feed
back.
Me Zeke is back, and I'm happy.
You
I'm actually
better
kind of happy to
feed
have
me.
him back. Like I wish the Cowboys found a way to actually keep him last year, but I understood the
Yeah.
business side of things and why they couldn't. But I'm glad that they was able to find mutual agreement this time around to get him back because I truly believe that Zeke has a little something left in his tank. I think Zeke can do more than what they think he can do. Like I mean, he was a good back before he left, and even
Yeah.
last year at New England, he did some things that people thought he couldn't do there. So now that he's back and being more familiar with the Cowboys and the playbook and the team and him maybe being hungry again, like I think he's a good addition to the running back room again. So welcome back, Zeke.
I think he's going to be a veteran presence. He's going to do the best that he can physically, right?
Right.
He's Dak's best friend basically. He's going to be a veteran presence for the younger guys that are in that running back group. It's going to be competition again in training camp for who's going to get the most reps. And listen, let's be real. When when trade deadline comes and we're looking for a running back, we're gonna probably grab one of these running backs up from one of these bad teams that says, "Hey, my team's not gonna make a playoff run, so hey,
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, do you need me?" So I'm gonna tell you this right now. Like I already heard rumors of Brees. What is that? Brees Hall
Brees
from
Hall?
the Jets.
Really?
I've heard that. Look, let's let the year play out. This is we're very early, guys. Everybody's so, oh my God, what are the Cowboys going to do at running back? Listen, let training camp go. Let OTAs go. Let all the preseason games go. We have a lot to do still. People can get hurt. People can get picked up still. There's undrafted guys that can still get picked up and show out and show off. So Cowboy Nation, we got this. For those of you guys that are nervous, it's okay. I think we did a great job. B minus again, draft.
Right.
And
And
Zeke is back.
yeah, and to your point about competition, like when you look at the draft room, I mean not the draft room, but the running back room, bro, we got like 5 different running backs on the squad right now. We can only take what, like 3 on game day or
You're
something like
really
that,
only
two
going
or
to meet
three.
three. Yeah. You're really
So
maybe four
yeah, so
if
it's
they're
gonna
a
be
special teams
competition.
guy.
They're gonna be
Yeah.
going. They're gonna be battling out in training camp to see who can get the most reps.
Yep.
Obviously, I think Zeke is probably going to win out the starting position because you don't bring him back for $3
Yeah.
million and let him sit on the bench. So now the competition is going to be between
Yep.
Rico, Deuce, and the other 2 guys. Obviously, I think
Yeah.
Rico is going to probably win out that number 2 spot
I
as
think so
well.
too.
So to your point, it's just going to bring a lot of competition to the practices and training camps
I think
to try to
Deuce.
see. Deuce
I
might get
think
cut.
Deuce.
I ain't gonna lie.
I think Deuce could stay as the third running back only if he could show that he could play special teams.
Right.
Meaning, because the special teams kick is a little different now, I say Turpin is going to get used a little bit more in offense. He could still punt return. Turpin is dangerous at the punt return, right? But as for kickoff, if we could take Turpin off a kickoff return and have him more, sub him in for offensive plays, if Deuce Vaughn can show that he could be a good return man because he's small. He can get behind his blocks and go.
Right.
If he could show that he could play special teams and as well contribute on offense when he is put into the game for special calls, he'll be valued at 3. But he needs to show a value because they're
Right.
not going to hold no more than 3 running backs.
Right.
And like you said, if anything, it might be Zeke, Rico, and Freeman that stay before Deuce does.
Right.
If he doesn't show.
Right. And back on Zeke, like going into the season, I mean, we signed him back. He's back. You have any expectations for Zeke?
I think he's going to wind up getting the ball only like 15 times, maybe
15
20.
times.
I don't think like you're not going to see a high like if he gets the ball if he gets 25 to 30 touches, I'll be like per game, I'll be in shock. Like to me I'll be like, wow, like this guy was a lot more in shape than I thought he was. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't think he gets the ball handed off to him that much. I think he's gonna stay in there, pass protect a lot for Dak. You know how like a little chip and go. Like when you dump it off to Zeke or something. I don't see, and I would love for somebody else to combat me on this. I don't see Zeke. I look at 15 to 20 carries or touches a game. That's it. Maybe
Right.
15.
So does that take the Cowboys back to the same issue that they had this prior season where they couldn't find a run game or they didn't have anybody to run the ball off? Because to me, like you bring back Zeke, obviously he ain't the Zeke from like 4 or 5, like 10, 15 years ago. Where he could be like a full-time load or whatever, but you got to find a way to like get him more involved and get that run game going a
Well, he's
lot
gonna run between the
more
tackles.
than what you
Yeah, he'll
did
run between the
last year.
tackles. Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
run between the tackles. Like
Okay.
he'll break a few tackles. Now Pollard did sprinkle some of that in this year. Like when he broke through, and like he'll fight for some yardage.
He was just too
There was some
small.
good starting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he can't do it on a consistent basis, right? I feel like Zeke and Dowell are gonna get those rough yards.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as
But
long as they commit to running
having
the ball.
Cooper Beebe with like I'm telling you, man, I mean, I don't see like I'm not talking about 1,000-yard running backs here. We're not talking about 1,000-yard running backs. I'm not saying that. I think people are really doubting that these draft picks are really gonna like do something. I'm telling you, if Guyton gets his feet together and that offensive line meshes, if you run behind this BB guy and he can really hold these guys up, and Tyler Smith can do. You got Tyler Smith and Zach Martin right here next to that freaking anchor. Like
Right.
people are really underachieving, like determining that. I don't even know the word to use right now. Like they're really not noticing how good of a job we did in this draft. And if those guys stay healthy and none of them get hurt and they mesh well, Dak could definitely have a better season throwing because he might actually have more protection.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, he's
Yeah.
getting paid like top dollar, so he better have a great season. If not, I mean,
Yeah,
the
man.
Cowboys will be back to the drawing board, and then they'll totally like break it up after the season. It won't be no Mike. It won't be no Dak. It won't be no Zeke. Like they're gonna totally blow it up if we do not make expectations of making it at least to the NFC Championship game,
Yeah.
if not the Super Bowl. Anything short
And
of
that's what I
that,
was gonna say. Yeah.
everybody gotta go.
I was gonna say, like, and we could leave that for another conversation, another episode, because that's like the next thing we could always talk about is when training camp does come,
Hmm.
not only recapping that and see how the young guys are doing, but also contract negotiations, right? Like
Right.
paying CD Lamb, what are they gonna do with Dak next year? How much are you actually gonna pay Micah? How much is he worth? So we still have those conversations to have too.
Yep, I agree. So overall, definitely a great draft for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't really too concerned about what any other teams did in the NFC East because it's still our division, still ours to lose. The Dallas Cowboys are still the team to beat, so it doesn't matter who those other teams drafted. Okay, it really doesn't. It doesn't matter at all. But
And I have a quick message.
yeah,
Quick message.
go for
This
it.
message goes out to NFC East. And yes, we're talking about the draft. Fly, Eagles, fly. You guys got Quinyon Mitchell. Oh, we got somebody that's going to lock CD up. I don't care who you guys recruit. I don't care if it's Deion freaking Sanders you recruited, the next coming of him. CeeDee Lamb will not be stopped, and the NFC East title will still be in Dallas. So
Love
that was
it.
just my message for all of them. Like, well, Philly had a better draft than the Cowboys. We'll see next season.
I love it. Like, man, we got to end on that. Like that was a perfect ending right there. That was a perfect ending. Happy with the draft. Happy that Zeke is back. Happy that the Cowboys are looking up. The future's bright. We just got to be a little bit patient. Everything's gonna be okay. I got the faith. I really do
Yeah.
got the faith. Any
No, but I
last
appreciate it,
parting
man.
words?
Nothing, man. Just glad to be back again. Like, doing it. We're gonna wait for next episode. Expert will be back.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just gonna let this roll out and see how the coverage goes. See how let all
Yeah.
these rookies come in, get comfortable being on scene. And I think our next episode is probably going to be I want to say what, June, maybe earlier than that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I know they got rookie camp this week or whatever, but there ain't gonna be too much
That's May, right?
fascinating
Yeah,
news coming out of that. Mini camps, something starts like in May or
yeah.
something like that. So, I mean,
We have
they'll be
voluntary
training.
and then
Yeah,
and
they'll
then
be training or
mandatory.
whatever. But
Yeah. So we
we'll
will
be
be
back.
monitoring that, guys, and we'll bring. But just listen, just like, follow, and share this out. And we enjoy you guys' feedback as well.
Yep, and that's so amazing on Rich Black Man, Silver and Blue Huddle. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow us on all social medias. Make sure you listen to the podcast on any streaming platform that you listen to podcasts on. That's Apple Music, Spotify, Google, whatever you listen it on. Make sure you follow the Silver and Blue Huddle, and we will catch you guys next podcast. Turn on your notifications so you know when we drop a video or whenever we drop a short. We got a nice little shorts going on, so I'm gonna probably be editing and dropping. So stay tuned, man. So Silver and Blue out. Peace out, guys.